Hello, everybody. Hey, this is Sunday. This is Sandra Louise, and life really does get better after the comma. So, I just wanted to get on here right now. I have I have done a couple of videos today. They have just not been uploaded, but at this point, it is what it is. I'm just coming to you with what I have here. Um, Man, I tell you, so many awesome things are happening right now. And as I have said before, I'm just going to be real with you all throughout my journey. Um, I pray before I get on here anytime I make a post because I do take it seriously that there may be somebody that who is listening and that they really are hanging on every word that I say, and it's not anything that I take lightly. I do encourage everyone to have your own relationship with the Lord, and I don't care who it is. Don't just take anybody's word for everything. I don't care how anointed they are. I don't care who they are. They're still a person. And as people, we're flawed. We're flawed individuals. However, God has a way of using things that are flawed and turning them into something beautiful. And so I just want to, just say that um, I don't claim to have all the answers and to know it all and all of that. That's not me. But what I will say is that God has been so good to me despite me. Even though I've made so many mistakes, I've done so many things wrong, yet His grace and His mercy, they really are chasing me down every day. And I'm always in awe of the things that He's doing in my life. And I had mentioned before about a project that I've been working on, and it's something how it was about three something this morning that I finally got to the place where I felt that it was something um, that it was finished. And um, I don't know about you, but I can be somewhat of a perfectionist when it comes to things that I'm creating and things that I do, whether I'm baking cookies for somebody, whether I'm making a video for somebody, whatever I'm doing for somebody else, it's like, I'm always trying to, make it better and better and better. And sometimes it can take a while for stuff to get done because I do that, but it is what it is. But I tell you, um, I want to. It's a couple of things that I definitely want to talk about right now because I don't want to be on here long, and I know I say that every time, but I really don't want to be on here long because I'm tired. Like I said, I didn't go to bed till after it was really closer to 4, and then I get up. It was around 6, between 6 and 6:30 because I think I woke up before my alarm. But but I just want to say that um, whatever God has put in you, no matter what is going on around you, no matter what it looks like, no matter what kind of opposition you are coming against, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Don't wait till you get it all together. Don't wait until everything is right because it's not going to be. you're not going to be together, because then you would defeat the purpose of God getting the glory, because he gets the glory in our imperfections. It's like, in our weakness is when his strength is made perfect. And so, saying that, when we go through things and we know that God has given us something to do and it seems impossible, the thing that's coming against you is coming against you to deter you from what God put in you to do. And especially when he has spoken a word to you and nothing in your life looks like it correlates with that word. It's like, okay, God, don't you see what's going on? Yeah, he sees. That's why he told you to do it. Because it's as you are obedient. The word says, if you be willing and obedient, you will eat the good of the land. It's something about walking in obedience, even when you don't feel worthy, especially when you don't feel worthy, because that's when God does his best work. When I tell you all, when I first got the opportunity to do this project, I had just started. I had just uh, gotten a camera, because I was taking a documentary class. Had never done a documentary before in my life. Had never, never done anything like that before. And it was like the first day uh, that I had even gotten a camera to just go out and try to do some B-roll footage. And so I'd gone out to the park, and I was gonna, get some footage out at the park. Barely knew how to operate the camera, okay? And I get this call from a friend who tells me about a project that a mutual friend of ours, at the time he told me, I didn't know it was this mutual friend, but he's telling me, he said they're doing this project, and I was just telling them that, you need to be documenting this. You need to really be documenting this. And I thought of you. And so they called me and asked me, if I would be available like then, because something that they were doing that day, they wanted to get recorded. So I told him, I said, well, here I am. I was out at the park, at one of my favorite parks. And so I was like, well, yeah. And then when I asked where it was, and he said, well, and he mentioned this person. I was like, what? And so now you have to keep in mind, just putting this into context, okay? So the person that was doing this project, for me, we go back years, years and years. But for me, when I associated this person's name with anything, I associated it with excellence. That was the first thing. So I knew that anything I did at that point, when I knew who it was for, I knew that anything that anybody did for this person, it would have to be at a level of excellence, or it had to be right. Okay. And I was kind of feeling a little intimidated, because, like I said, this is the first day I'm out here playing with this camera, okay, just trying to, figure it out. And so I'm gonna try to fast forward. I'm gonna try, okay. But long story short, I was in a season where I had determined I am not gonna let fear keep me from anything else, because I had realized at that point that it had been fear that have kept me in things too long and kept me from things that I should have been that I should have had. And so when I'm discovering this, as I talked about in a couple of videos ago, I was going through a transformation where I'm trying to figure out, okay, who am I? Who am I after all these years? So the one thing I knew I wasn't going to be was afraid. So that meant I rose up to the challenge and I said, okay, this opportunity is coming to me, just like the opportunity to even be a part of this documentary class. Even that in itself was something that, out of so many people who had applied for it, I was one of the ones that got chosen. And so I'm realizing, okay, there's some favor happening right here. And so at that point, I agreed. Now, I must say, during the time that I am doing, I'm filming this project, and over time, I'm filming this project, and at the same time, I'm working on my documentary. And there were times I did not have the camera, so I would just use my phone. The significance of that was about 3-4 months into the project, I lost all of the footage that I had gathered using the camera. Yeah. All of that footage gone. But thank God for wisdom, because at the time that all this was happening, I didn't have my own car. I was pretty much on other people's schedule, and I was kind of living like in 3 different places. I was sleeping on one person's couch, and I had stuff in 3 different locations. Okay, and so at any given time, I would have to, stop what I was doing if the person whose car I was using, if they needed their car for something, and all of these different things. And so, and keep in mind, I'm filming a documentary, okay? So that meant, and I was also serving in many capacities. And so it was a time where I felt like everything was imploding on me. It had gotten to the point that it was so stressful that I felt like everything was imploding. Now, I'm going to back up, because as soon as I found out about the documentary class and how many weeks it was going to be and what it was going to require, I knew that I was supposed to step down from some of the things and activities that I was involved in at the time. And I knew that it was for a season. I didn't know how long the season was going to be, but I knew it was for a season. And so in my mind, I'm thinking it's at least until this documentary is done. But I'm trying to be Superwoman, okay? So I am still trying to occupy all of these different roles. Plus, I'm in this new season in my life where I don't even know who I am. And then I have these opportunities that just cannot be denied. I mean, I could not deny the significance, and not only the significance of the favor that was operating in my life at the time, but even what I was working on. I knew that that God was using me in that moment to do something that I was given the grace to do. So there's that dichotomy where you got something really good happening over here, but then all of this is not making sense, and then you're going through all of this, and then everything else that you deal with in the meantime while you're going through all of this, just life itself. And so there was a lot of things going on, and I'm still trying to hold on to everything that I was doing in another season. That's a word for somebody right there, is that there are some things that God calls you to do in a season in your life that as you enter into the next season, he's saying, no, that was just for that season, the one that you were in. But in this next season, it's going to require something else of you. And you can't try to operate in the spring and at the same time operate in the fall. What you did in the spring, now you're trying to do in the fall. It's some things you can't do. And it's some things that you're trying to hold on to that you did in the spring and it's winter. It just doesn't work. So different seasons in our lives, we have to change. We have to shift with it. I'm reminded of the children of Israel when they were in the wilderness and how for 40 years they were led by a cloud during the day and a pillar of fire at night. And the significance of that was that during the daytime, the clouds shielded them from the sun. They're out here in the desert, okay? And then at night, as hot as it is in the daytime, it's cold at night. And so he kept them warm with this fire. Supernatural. And I didn't think about this until recently, that everybody in that region saw them. For 40 years, everybody in this region saw what was happening and how God was taking care of them. This wasn't just a children of Israel story, okay? Everybody in that region was aware of what was going on out there in that desert, okay? That's why when they came to Jericho and Rahab told them, look, we know how your God has taken care of you all. That's right. They did know, because for 40 years they've been watching God take care of them. So they knew it was something supernatural that was happening with these people. And that's for some of you. People know that God has been on you, the grace of God is on your life. So they already know it. The problem is you don't know it. And that is speaking to me because it has taken me so long to walk in who God says I am. And so now here I am. That's why I was intimidated when I was asked to work on this project. Okay? So fast forward. I lose the footage. All I have is the pictures and the videos and the things that I have on my phone. And so for the majority going forward, that's what I used. That's what I used. I just used my phone because rarely did I don't think after that I really got the camera too much for any footage, at the actual location. And so fast forwarding, there's different layers of this project. And so first of all, to be asked to be on it when I was, turned out to be one of the best things that could have happened, because I didn't realize the significance of it when I started. I didn't realize the significance of it. And the more I got into it, and even doing my own research, I found even more and more. And to be at the place where God has entrusted me to do something that it was just beyond anything that I could have done on my own. So fast forwarding again. So I get to the place where, like I said, I had lost all of the footage that I had gathered on the cameras. All I had was what was on my phone. And when it came down to doing this recent part of the project, I was in need of certain footage. And when I tell you, it's a long story, and I'm not going to go into all of it. But when I tell you some supernatural things happened during this project, I mean, just supernatural. And the end product what I consider to be the end product. And this is after multiple edits and multiple, checks, and, me sending something to somebody and then them sending something back to me and then me sending something back to them and them sending back something. I mean, it was many of those, but when I tell you it is worth it, when I tell you it pays to have quality people in your life, people who will challenge you. Had it not been for the perception that I had of this person, and then having to meet those in their family, and to be able to talk to them, and to it when I tell you, it takes things to a whole other place, because through this whole thing I have met people who have brought out things in me that I didn't know was there. I have seen God do things in my life and take me to a place where things that I used to worry about, because I'm seeing him do so many things, even through this project. It's like when certain things would happen, even outside of it, where I would normally be tripping about it, it was like, okay, I already know, God, you got this. And sure enough, he would show me that he had this. And so to get to the place where I was able to present something to this family that it was an honor for me to be able to do it. It was an honor that God chose me to do it. It was an honor for me to be in a place where I'm around greatness. And I'm saying that because we all have it, but not all of us walk in it. Not all of us are aware of what our presence brings. And when I was letting the person know, the main person know, it was because of how I viewed you that caused me to step up and go beyond anything that I had done before. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh no, this has to be like this. This has to be like that. And I found myself studying. I would, in areas that I was working in, I would watch things on that, to further get an understanding of what I was doing. When I tell you, it brought things out of me that I didn't know I had. I was studying. I was, watching stuff. I was getting all the information I could. I found that I have a research bug. I love research, and I love history, and I love uncovering, getting information. I didn't realize that I was like that, but it came out during this whole process. So many different aspects of my personality and things that God put in me. I've said before, I really believe that God places that there are some gifts in us that are time released, that they don't come out until we're in a certain place, a certain environment, a certain time, where that's conducive to our gift being manifested. And so God will allow us to go through a situation or something that's going to bring it out of us, where ordinarily it would have just stayed dormant. But I told my oldest son today, I said, I really believe that I have found the thing that I'm supposed to do. Because, they say if you do something that you are born to do, you do it with the least effort. And it's something you would do for free. And when I tell you, this is one of those things for me that I could do this. I don't believe I'm going to have to do it for free, but it is one of those things that I'm telling you, I just get such a joy, and my creativity just comes to, I mean, I'm telling you, when I tell you I was getting downloads on things on how to do stuff, and then it helps too having sons who are into electronics and digital creation and all of that, because you can ask. When you run into an issue, you can ask. And but when I tell you, it has brought out so much in me. And to know that something that I produced, something that came from me, was such a blessing to that family. It just did something, it just took it to a whole other place. And so, I just want to tell you, I don't know what your thing is. I don't know what it's going to take for your thing to come out. But all I want you to know is that there is something in you that God put in you that only you can do like you. It's a whole lot of people doing the stuff that I did, that I do, but they don't do it like me. And one of the things that I'm learning is I had spent so much time of my life comparing myself with other people, being afraid to show up, being afraid, of all kinds of just crazy stuff, just crazy stuff. But it's nothing more empowering than being yourself. And when you think about it, why not be yourself? Why waste your time trying to be somebody else? Being a cheap copy when you can be an awesome original. Why, you know, why covet what somebody else is doing? They're just showing up as God in them. Admire it. Admire what God is doing in somebody. Don't be hating on people and feeling insecure and all that. That's a spirit. And we got to learn how to just start taking authority over these spirits, y'all. That stuff is not us. And we got to stop adopting it as my this and my that. No. If it ain't in heaven, then it's illegal in you. And so we've got to start casting out these spirits that are trying to make us adopt them as ours, because they're not. And that is a lie. And they will keep us from doing the thing that God has put us here to do. So that's another thing. But I just want you all to know that right now, I don't know what all God has for me, but I am prophesying it right now that the best days of my yesterday is going to be the worst of my tomorrows. I'm prophesying it now that I am about to walk into rooms. I've said it before, but I'm saying it again. I am prophesying that I am about to enter spaces that have known about me long before I even got there. I am about to acquire things that have been held up, that are being released right now. They've been mine, but they've been held up. I'm prophesying right now that I have entered a season of abundance, of prosperity, of creativity, of success, of great kindness, of all of the things that God has for me, the goodness of God. I'm telling you, I have entered that season. I have entered a season where the creativity that I've experienced is not even the tip of the iceberg of where he's taken me, of what I'm capable of. I'm prophesying. Yeah. If you watch my last Voice of Hope episode with Coach Donna J, we talked about, late bloomers and baby boomers. And I'm telling you, this is a time where my creativity is at a level that I have never been at before. I've done things in the past, but nothing on this level. And one of the things that was consistent in this project, especially in this last week, because there were things that I was like, should I do this, and can I do this, and can I do that? And I was hearing in my spirit, look, just do it. And don't even worry about the rest. If it's any kind of anything that come back from it, then you deal with that when it come. But I believe I serve a Lord that fights my battles for me. And if he gives it to me, it's something that he wants to do through me. And so I just trust him with it all. But I just put it all out there. I'm like, Lord, I'm just gonna, whatever comes to me, however I see it, if you enable me to do it the way I see it, then I'm just doing it. And when I tell you the favor of God, the goodness of God has been present throughout this whole thing, and not only with me but with other people in various other aspects of it, it has worked like that. And so I'm just so excited about the things that God is doing and what he is not just doing in my life, but I want you to catch it. He's doing it in your life. If you receive that word, receive it as for you too, that he's doing that for you too. Don't think, oh, that's just you, and he's doing that for you. And no, if you can receive that word, it's for you too. It's for whoever receives it. I heard a word yesterday as I was waking up, and I shared this with my mom too. And it's something, because my mom and I, we have this kind of relationship. We're talking about how the fruit don't fall far from the tree, okay? But when I told her the word that he had given me, she said I could have quoted it verbatim to you, because that's the same thing he told me. And basically what it is, and I'm going to read it. Now, this is what as soon as I opened my eyes yesterday morning, this is what I heard. God doesn't become real, and real is in all capital letters, because this is the way I heard it. Literally, this is the way I heard it. God doesn't become real to some people until he takes his time. That's one of those Selah moments. Something to ponder. God doesn't become real to some people until he takes his time. And then this is what followed. Then, on the other side of the wait, they discover that all the time they thought he wasn't working, he wasn't listening, and nothing was happening, that he and it really was. And what he'd prepared for them was far better than anything they ever could have imagined. Think about that, y'all. That was good. That was so good. And I'm believing for God for some things. And when I really thought about that, I started thinking about other times in my life when God showed up in situations where I had been waiting for something for a long time. And when it finally happened, I realized that's why it was taking you so long. That's why this had to happen. And that's why that had to happen. And so when I heard that word and I wrote it down, I said, okay, God, I get it. Because in each one of those situations, I would think in the moment, I wish I had trusted him more in the wait. I wish I had trusted him more when I didn't see it. I wished I had been more patient. I wished that I hadn't complained when I did. I wish that I hadn't doubted that he would. And in those moments of the manifestation, I would think, the next time I have to, I'm going to go through it differently. So for him to give me that word yesterday morning, and I got to share something else with y'all real quick, because there's something that I've been believing God for, and I've been believing him for a long time. and and one of the things, I don't know. Okay, I just said, so I mentioned before that last year I was driving somebody else's car because I didn't have one. Okay, well, I'm still driving somebody else's car. Okay, but there's a certain one that I'm believing God for. And, the word says that God is not mine. Whatsoever a person sows, that shall he also reap. And I have sown, literally sown, 2 vehicles. Okay. And so for me, I remind God of his word. I remind him of what his word has said. And so I fully expect to get what God said belongs to me. And so lately, and I would say over the past 3 days, this has happened. I have seen the very vehicle that I'm believing him for. Now, before that, I wasn't seeing it. I was not seeing it on the street. But lately, for the past 3 days, every time I go out, I see the color, the make, the model, everything. I see it when I go out. And you know how it is. When you get a new vehicle, you start seeing it all over the place. After you get your vehicle, before you didn't see them at all, but now you seeing them everywhere you go. Well, that's happening already in reverse. It hasn't manifested yet, but I'm seeing it everywhere I go. And it was so funny the other day when I first saw one. It was like at a corner. It was in a parking lot facing me at a corner. And I just heard I'm going to see it at the place that I was getting ready to go, which was way down the road from where this was, where I saw it. And like I said, it was just a thought. I'm going to see it when I go there. Tell me why I'm at in a parking lot, and I'm in a drive-through. Literally, I'm in a drive-through, and I just happen to look up, and that very one comes past me at the place that I thought I was gonna see it. I literally saw it pass me there. Okay. Now, I know they say algorithms or something else, and they are, when you're doing stuff digital, you're doing things online and all that kind of stuff. But now, how is an algorithm gonna manifest a literal vehicle and you driving around? Okay, all right, whatever. But anyway, so that's been happening, y'all. And I saw that same one that same day, a little bit later. But it's been happening like every day. So I'm excited because I know pretty soon, y'all, I'm going to be testifying about how I don't know how it's going to happen. That ain't my business. But I know it's happening. I know it's coming because it's my season, y'all. So I'm just believing God for the things that he's doing. I'm thanking him for everything that he has done in my life. I'm thanking him, and I'm praying for you to also receive the things that God has for you. I'm telling you, God has so much more than what we have settled for. And when I say settled for, we have been settling, y'all. And God doesn't want us settling for anything. He wants us to believe Him. He wants us to take Him at His word, because it's the glory that's on our lives that's going to draw men to Him. He said if He be lifted up, He would draw all men to Him. And I want God to be magnified in my life. I want Him to get the glory in my life. And so, with that being said, I just want you all just, take take time. Just thank Him, seek His face. Seek His face about what He wants you to do. If you are willing and obedient, you're going to eat the good of the land. That's the promise. And God does not go back on His word. He is faithful to His word to perform it. He said He watches over His word to perform it, that He esteems His word above His name. So when we give Him, we present back to Him what He has said. He is obligated, y'all. He's obligated to act on it, because we have put it out there. We have said, look, Lord, this is what you said. This is what you said. I'm not making this up. And you said, if I ask anything according to your will, that you hear me. And if I know that you hear me, I also know that I have what I ask of you. This is what you said. And He is obligated. He's obligated to act on His word. So you all just have a blessed rest of your Sunday. I don't know what the rest of the week is going to be like, but I know it's going to be good. Okay. I don't know what all is going to happen, but I know for me, nothing but good things are going to happen. And I'm declaring that over your life too. Nothing but good things are going to happen for you. Expect it. Look for it. Life after the comma, it really does get better, y'all. Love you.